Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the subject or system operation and control. So here we are discussing a brief review of module 2 and 3. First we shall discuss the first concept, that is basic generator control loops. There are the two different kind of loops in the generator control. That is, one is automatic voltage regulator and one more is automatic load frequency control. So in the AVR loop, which consists of different blocks, so those blocks are voltage error, then rectifier units, that is voltage error, amplifier, exciter, generator, transformers, potential transformer, rectifier unit, comparator. Amplifier, which is used to amplify the signal, exciter to give the excitation to the generator, so you can use the exciters, generator which is directly coupled with turbine, and transformer which transfer the power from the generated power to the buses. So then rectifier unit is used to convert DC to AC, and comparator which compare the difference of voltage, that is terminal voltage, with respect to reference voltage. In that automatic load frequency control loop, there are the separate again classified into two sub loop. One is primary ALFC and one more is secondary ALFC. Primary ALFC block having which is consists of speed governor and hydraulic amplifier. This hydraulic amplifier which amplify the signals, that is the frequency signal, and gives an output. So that output is change in power. So this speed governor mechanism is used to identify the speed of any system, and speed changers which is used to observe the change in speed. Integrator block which convert the signal into integrate the signals, either if it is a sinusoidal or square, converted into speed changer signals. And here ACE, which stands for area control error, which control the errors, and this is called it as tie line. Tie line is nothing but equivalent to transmission line. So complete entire four blocks which is called it as secondary ALFC. So then here the steam or water, that is the valve mechanism which entering the flow of waters, or water will be entered into the valve mechanism. So this is about the basic generator control loops. So then it is when it is reaches the equilibrium state, means the system is having the loss, decreasing the frequency, then system will be reduce the sensitivity of load balance. If decreasing the load means the speed is decreases and the frequency will be balancing. So then let us discuss with the next concept, that is the speed governor. Speed governor mechanism which depend on the speed depending on the load. When electrical load of generator increases suddenly, there will be a change in power, that is nothing but mismatching of power of kinetic energy stored in the system. This leads to reduction in the speed of turbine and droop of the frequency. So the governor mechanism will be depending on the change in speed. That change in speed is depending on the applied load to the mechanism. So we can control the speed using a valve mechanism, that is called a governor control valve mechanism. And we can control the water level, means the speed of the turbine will be decreases, then the speed of the generator is also decreases. So here there will be ALFC, that is automatic load frequency control block diagram. There are the two different blocks in this ALFC loops, that is fly ball mechanism, or else this is a speed changer which is used to change the speed from minimum to maximum. From minimum to maximum speed, you can use this speed changer. So for change into minimum to maximum, then rise or lower. So if the speed changer will be lower, that is the upper direction, means the valve will be gets closed. So this linking mechanism connected to the governor control valve. If it increases, means the valve will be gets closed and there is no flow of the fuel, that is nothing but water. If valve will rise, that is decreasing, means it will be locked. That is, there is a change in the speed depending upon the lower and increase and decreasing of the valve mechanism. The speed governor will observe the speed change in speed in the complete mechanism. Hydraulic amplifiers which amplify, that is hydraulic amplifier is nothing but open and closing of valve which is used the hydraulic mechanism, that is open and close the complete system. So this is about the complete ALFC control block. Then there are the different kind of mode of governor operations, that is the speed governor mechanisms. So to identify the mode of governor operations, the normal speed is considered as 100% speed and load is considered as 100%. That is, if the governor is under normal condition means we have to consider 100% speed and 100% load. There are the different mode of operations. In the first mode of operation, that is hydraulic governing system. In this mode of operation, there are the four different blocks which are used for the governor mechanism. Sensing elements which sense the speed, and that speeds, after sensing the speed, that will be converted into digital signal E by H, that is the converter circuit which used to convert the signal, and hydraulic amplifier and speed changer mechanism which observe the change in the speed if there is a movement of hydraulic amplifier, that is amplify the signals. And the steam, that is nothing but it is a valve control, that is the flow of fuel to the turbine mechanism which is controlled by the valve, and that turbine which is directly coupled with the generators, that is the complete flow of power from generating station to the corresponding speed. Here the main objective is here to record the change in frequency as well as the change in voltage. These changes will be observed based on the load. If we are 100 applied load is 100%, we can get the change in frequency is 100%. That is nothing but in terms of per unit. If load is 1 per unit, then frequency is 0.49 or zero point 0.5 pu, zero point 0.4 or 0.5 pu. That is nothing but 50 hertz. If we convert this into hertz, it would multiplied by or divided by base MVA. Just multiplied with base MVA. So in the modes of operation and one more block diagram we are discussing here. Here we have to consider the two wall control mechanism. That is the main parameter is reference change in speed as well as the power. If there is a difference in the change in speed, actual speed minus the reference speed, then the speed controller mechanism will be control the difference of speed. That controlled speed will be given to fed to the control logic. That control logic observe the desired change in frequencies. Along with that, it will be considered one more parameter, that is the difference of power. That is considered the generated power minus reference power. If there is a difference in speed power, then the load will be get changes. Load will be controlled. If the difference of power is 0, then load will be 100%. If the difference of power will be in more than 0, then the load will be decreases. That decreasing load parameter which is recorded in the control logic circuit. That control logic circuit which provide an output depending on valve mechanism. That is open and closing of valve which depending on both the parameters, that is one is the speed as well as the power. Then droop mode operations. So mode of operations which is called as the slope which indicate the droop characteristics. That is the slope of the speed, that droop characteristics which is drawn by the frequency versus output. The frequency in per unit and output power in per unit. Here we are consider the two kind of frequency or two kind of speed. It is the natural without no load speed and full load speed. W0 is nothing but base speed, that is the actual speed which is recorded from the system. If there is a difference between the base frequency, base speed minus full load speed, then you will get the change in frequency. Delta F which indicate the change in frequency. This change in frequency is difference of base frequency minus full load frequency. Then if you are finding the droop characteristics means you have to find the regulation. Regulation is given by delta F by delta P. Change in frequency with respect to change in power. That characteristics curve which is called as speed droop curve. So same speed droop characteristics which is drawn for the one more graph on the same block diagram. So how to find the delta F means you have to get those delta F which is given by F minus F naught. F is the base frequency and F naught is actual frequency. That is the no load frequency, or else can call it as actual frequency. So this is the one more characteristics curve which is drawn for the speed droop for the governor mechanism. Frequency in per unit as well as output in per units. So this is nominal speed. F naught is nominal or base actual speed, and there is the two droop characteristics which is meet at the points common power. This is the 0.5. If the power is 0.5 per unit, and the frequency is f0. The Drude characteristics which meets at this point. This point is called as A or unit 1, A1, and this is A2. That is for second unit where exactly it crosses the base frequency point. For load is 100% or 1 per unit, the total power, then the base frequency will meet at the f0. So that is nothing but for base frequency, if you are increasing the power level, the base frequency is increases. So that is called as nominal speed. So this characteristics curve which is called it as a speed Drude curve with change in governor mechanism. So let us discuss one basic fundamental problem on speed Drude characteristics. So here the two identical machines are given 1 and 2. It's having the characteristics 5% and 2%. Both are share the initial load 100 megawatt equally operating at nominal frequency, which is called as a base frequency. If now there is increasing of 35 megawatt of load, how would be additional load will be shared? So based on this given data, you have to plot the graph. So in x-axis power in megawatt, in y-axis frequency in per units. So we have to start the frequency from reference point, that is 97.5, or else we can start from 90. So 97.5, 98.5 pu, which is varies with respect to the characteristics curve. So both having the same power, that will change in power 10 megawatt and 25 megawatt. So that is gives the total 35 megawatt of power. So that will be given in the sentence. We can solve the problem using graphical. So we have to draw the graph for two machines. So these two are the plots which are drawn for the two machines. Assume that with initial load the system frequency is 100%. 100% means base free. The frequency is 50 Hz. And we can take the 100% output means 100 megawatt at 50 Hz. Each supply 50 megawatt because load shared equally. Now if the load is increases by 35 megawatt, 135 megawatt, what is the new load for the system? So we can draw the horizontal line by trial and error, locate the frequency which is by the load supplied by the 135 megawatt. So look at the graph, this point, it is not accurate point, just based on this characteristics. Here you have to observe that 5% increasing in Drude and 2% increasing in Drude. That is nothing but 102% divided by 100, we get 1.02, and 105% divided by 100, which is gives 1.05. Okay, so that will be given in the statements. Based on the reference line, you have to plot the horizontal line. If the frequency is 99.5%, because 5% decreasing or 5% increasing, here I have to consider 5% decreasing the Drude. That is nothing but we will get 99.5. So the frequency is 49.75. Then we get P1 is 60 megawatt and P2 is 75 megawatt. So 99.5% of 135 means you will get that 60 megawatt and P2 is 175. If you are adding both the power, we will get 135 megawatt. So 100 megawatt, 35 megawatt of load is increased. Okay. So 5% means we will get that 100% of 5% and P2 is 2%. So we will get the values like this. Then from the increasing the power output of machine 1 is 10 megawatt. So 10 megawatt power is increases in the machine 1. How it is 10 megawatt means initially if load is shared equally means for 100% load it is 50. If it increases 10% that is 60 megawatt. Okay. Then similarly for machine 2 25 megawatt of power will be increased because it is 75 minus 50. So 75 is the new power and 50 is the equally shared load power. So then we will get this value. Then we know that the Drude characteristics. So delta P by delta P1 by delta P2 is equal to R2 by R1. So from this equation you have to find the value of delta P1 and delta P2. So similar type, one more problem. Two machines operating in parallel to supply a load of 400 megawatt. The capacity of the machines are 200 and 500 megawatt respectively. The Drude characteristics is 4%. Both the machine having the same Drude characteristics. and the frequency is 100% of full load. So full load is 400 megawatt and its 100% means the frequency is 50 hertz. Calculate the load supplied by each unit and the frequency at this load. The system is 50 hertz. Yes. So first we have to convert the given value into per unit. 200 divided by 200 because machine base is considered as 200. So we'll get the 200 divided by 100, we'll get 2 pu. Then 500 divided by 100, we'll get 5 per unit. Similarly, if frequency drop will be increases, if load is increasing means the speed will be increases. That is 4% change in speed. So there is a change in speed is 4% means you get the 104%. So first we have to plot the graph. Yes, 104, 1.04. Initially it is 100% for full load. The speed is increases by 4%. That is the droop characteristics increases by 4% means it is 104 divided by base 100. So this is the base common point. For first unit it is a 2 per unit and 5 per unit. First we have to mark these points 2 and 5 and jot the common intersecting point, that is 1.04. This is common intersecting point. Now we have to draw the lines. Select one reference point. This is this reference point will be selected based on the trial and error method. Just I will mark somewhere here after 100% of frequency. So we'll get the point. Then mark this intersecting point. This is point A and this is considered as point B. These two are intersecting point in the slope. So the first intersecting point with respect to unit 1, which is considered as the distance is x. X is the distance from the reference point and 4 minus x is the distance from the second reference point. So how it is 4% means the droop characteristics is 4%. So hence we will consider 4 minus x. Now you have to, from the plot only you have to calculate the value. If load is 400 megawatt, it is 4 pu. Then load supplied by unit 1 will be x pu and load supplied by unit 2 will be 4 minus x pu. Then you have to, we know that the formula change in frequency delta f by f, that is equal to, that is droop characteristics regulation divided by power, that is delta r divided by delta p. So delta f by x. Similarly for second unit, then you have to solve this equation 1 and 2. This is equation 1, this is equation 2. If you are solving equation 1 and 2, we will get the value of x, that is in terms of megawatt. So we will get the x is 114.285. So here it is in per units. To convert into megawatt, you have to multiply it with base of 100 MVA. So we will get x in megawatt. Clear? So we will get 114.2. So once if you are getting the x value, then you have to find the change in frequency delta f. Using any one of the equation, you have to find the value of delta x. Delta f is equal to 0.02 into x, because from equation 1, that is 2 into x. Delta f is equal to, x is known, you have to find the value of this. Okay, 2. So 2 ones are 2, 0.020. Okay, so we get the value of delta f. Then you have to find the f1 easily. So this is the f1 equal to f minus delta. So we'll get this in per unit. To convert it into per unit to hertz, we can multiply it by 50. Then you will get the power supplied by the unit 1 is 114.285. Once if you are getting the power supplied by unit 1, unit 2 you can easy to find out. How it is means the total load is 400 megawatt. Okay. If you are getting the one of the unit cost 114.28, if you subtract this, so we will get the power supplied by second unit, that is 285.7. Okay. Similarly, one more problem we have to consider here. We have to plot the graph. So here the different speed droop characteristics. So one is a 4% and one more is 3% and generator unit. So 120 megawatt, 250 megawatt. 120 megawatt divided by base means you will get the 1.2 and 250 megawatt divided by base means you will get 2.5, and its speed characteristics and the frequency is 4% and 3%, that is 104 and 103. So just look at you 104 and 103. 104 belongs to unit So first unit 1.2, 104, 1.2, 104. Here we'll get 1.2, and one more is 2.5. It is 3, 103. So we'll get 2.5 per unit. This is called as 2.5 units. Okay. From the graph, we have to calculate the value of x1, x2. So from the first part, AB by AC, AB by AC, which is equal to BB1 divided by CC1. AB by AC. So this is the C point. AB by AC, it is equal to BB1 equal to CC1. Then the second point we can mark DB by DC. dB by dC. This is with respect to graph 1, slope 1. This is from slope 2. You have to write this equation 1 and equation 2. Clear? So AB is nothing but the distance. You can call it as 0.04 minus delta F divided by AC. This AC is nothing but the value of droop. That is equal to BB. BB1 is X divided by CC2. CC2 means here. CC2 will get 1.2. Okay. Then similarly the one more equation I have to write it here. 1 minus delta F by, okay, same equation you can rewrite. Then you have to send to rearrange this equation. Then from equation 3 you have to substitute 0.03, that is 3% droop characteristics minus delta F divided by 0.03. That is equal to, distance is 2 minus x and the power is 2.5. I have to substitute here. Then if you are solving the equation you will get the value of x. Then you will get delta f. Then let us discuss with the next concept, that is mathematical model of ALFC. So this is the functional block diagram of ALFC. This block diagram ALFC consists of governor, which is represented as G, and turbine. This group is represented as R, and load, generator plus load, you can call it as G plus L, or else you can call it as power generated by generator and load, which is PGL. And this is the common meeting point, delta PM. So turbine or mechanical power developed by the turbine, and the load power PLFS, generator plus load power, and change in speed delta omega of S, and delta P reference, that is the change in power with respect to reference point. So this same block diagram, which is represented as rewrite in the form of general block diagram, that is stream wall here, and turbine speed sensors. So same change in speed which is observed in this summing point, and regulating characteristics which is called as droop, and we'll get the output in terms of frequency or else voltage. So in that we have to consider the first case, governor model. So in this governor model there are the three different block diagrams which are observed here. The first block diagram, which consists of gain constant of generator kg by s, and here change in speed delta omega of s, and delta p change in power, that is reference power, and this is the desired power in the system. And R is considered as feedback element or regulating characteristics, or we can call it as droop. So same block diagram we can rewrite this regulating characteristics 1 by R, which is shifted to here after summing block 1 by R. So this summing block we can keep as it is, delta P reference. So this is the path we have to consider here, and we can rewrite the block diagram. So here we can apply the elimination of feedback. Just rearrange of block diagram. You will get this revised block diagram like this. Then you have to keep as it is. Again you have to rearrange this 1 over kgp, which is considered as generator constant or else turbine constant, which is represented like this. So this is the Governor model. If it is in an examination, write the Governor model and write its block diagram, means only this much you have to write it, all the three blocks, and you have to write the explanation only this much. So what is the main objective is here, we need to compare the change in speed as well as the power. So this is the next problem based on the Governor mechanism. We have to discuss the one more problem. So this problem, while solving this problem, we should remember the formula. This is Governor model, that is change in speed of Governor model. This is very important equation. We need to solve the problem. A single area consists of two generators which are connected. G1 generator 1 and R is the regulating characteristic. G2 is the second generator and R is the group characteristics of machine 2. They are connected in parallel and share a load of 600 megawatt. So in proportion to the frequency and load, 200 megawatt load is tripped. What is the generation to meet the new load if D equal to 0? What is the frequency of new load? Repeat D equal to 1.5. There are the two cases. If the value of load, that is the load demand, is 0, D, then again D equal to 1.5. So first you have to convert it into base into a per unit value. So here you can choose 200 megawatt is the base, and if you are converting the R1 with respect to base, so directly, because it is 200 by 200 1 per unit, there is no need to again finding the value. So then R2 is 0.05 into, so 200 base divided by load. So how to represent that regulation? R equal to group characteristics, R in percentage into megawatt, that is base MVA, you can call it as SB, divided by generation, that is PG. So that will be applied here. So 0.05 into 200 by 400. So we'll get down base of 200. So then delta PL is minus 200. Why it is minus 200 means the load is shutdowning of load or decreasing of load. You can consider as minus. Decreasing indicates minus sign. So if you are divided by base, for this value we'll get 1 minus 1 per unit. So then you can use this formula, delta omega SS. Under steady state condition, the change in speed, which is given by minus delta PL whole divided by 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. R1 and R2 is called as regulating group characteristics, which is given in the problem. And change in load with respect to the speed, which is given by delta PL, that is minus 1 PL. So they will get the change in speed. So once if you are getting the change in speed, you have to find the value of change in power. So that will be given by change in power delta P1, which is equal to minus delta F by R1. That is the formula. So delta F is known, R1 is known. So we'll get the change in power in terms of PU. So convert PU into megawatt multiplied with base of 200 MV megawatt. Then we need to find the value of P1. P1 is given by initial power, that is P1 actual minus change in new power, that is delta P1. Clear? P1 is known 200, delta P1 is already calculated here 76.9. So we get the value. Similarly, you have to find the value of delta P2, use the same fundamental equation. Then you have to find the value of P2. P2 is in terms of megawatt. So we know that the conditions, total generation is equal to total load. So if you are adding this P1 plus P2, P1 plus P2, if you are adding this means you will get meet 400 megawatt of load. If D equal to 1.5, the value of load changes, that is D is present, then the equation will become correct. Rest of the coefficient is same, only you have to substitute the D is 1.5. So then we get the new values. So that will be done here, calculating the values, same frequency, same formulas, we have to use it. So once if you are knowing the D, then you have to find the change in frequency as well as change in load. Increasing load due to frequency changes. So 1.5 per unit into, this is the delta omega. So delta omega is, we know that delta omega change in speed. This is the change in speed. Okay. So here we get values. Then in terms of PU converted into megawatt, we will get the megawatt. Similar type, one more problem we have to discuss here. Determine a control area having the sum values. Total generation is 2000 megawatt. Nominal load, this is 1500. H is given, D is given, F is given, and R is given. So from the block diagram, using a block diagram of generator control loops, you have to determine the value of power. So if D is 1.2% changes, means load is increases by 1.2% for 1% increasing in frequency. If load changes 1.2%, then it is 18 megawatt. How to get 18 megawatt means multiply with 1500 nominal load with 0. Change in percentage of load. So if 1% means it is 0.5 hertz. So D equal to 18 megawatt. 18 megawatt is change in load divided by frequency. So we'll get 36 megawatt divided by hertz. So then megawatts per hertz. So 36 divided by 2000 total generation have to convert it into hertz per unit megawatt per hertz. So we know that T of S, time with scale division, change in time, so which is given by the equations. Substitute the values, we get the equations. Then without generator control loop, so find the frequency. Clear? So you have to find the frequency without generator control. With corner control, find the change in frequency. With D equal to 0, you have to find the frequency. Here 1 by R2, why you consider this equation means the regulating characteristics is only for with respect to generator 1 only. That's why I have to use only individual formula. So now we shall move on to the next concept, that is tie line control. So here tie line means with the help of two areas, so control the power flow between the two areas. So we can call it as tie line. Let us consider area 1, that is A1, connected to area 2, A2. So this line, which is called as tie line, we can connect the load to the line. Let us consider the two area system as shown in figure. So the positive power flow between the area 1 to 2, which is P12, that is power flow. So we know that the general power equation for synchronous machines or any generators, which is given by PEV. So general power equation as for the P is equal to EV sine delta divided by X. This is the general equation for power. So here with respect to two unit or two area 1 power voltage across area 1 E1, voltage across generator 2 is E2, and reactance between the line 1 to 2 is X12, sine of change in angle between the area 1 and 2, delta 1 minus delta 2. Then the total reactance, which is considered as reactance of generator 1, reactance of generator 2, and tie line reactance, that is X. So from the equation, you have to rewrite the equation as linearized equation. So to sine become cos. So change in delta can represent as delta 1. Okay. So then delta 1 is like this. Then we can use the torque formula. Let us consider T equal to E1 E2 divided by X12 cos of delta 1 0 minus delta 2 0. So E1 E2 by X12 is nothing but P max, maximum power at delta equal to 90 degree. So we get cos of delta 1 0 minus delta 2 0. So change in power delta P12, which is given by torque into change in angle. So this is the block diagram which shows the tie line flow control. Area 1, area 2, change in power. So this is the block diagram of two area. This is respect to area 1. This is with respect to area 2. So here are the different blocks. This is the turbine block. This is the governor block. This is the turbine block. This is the turbine constant, turbine generator constant. This is the T is the time scale division, and this is the droop. regulating characteristics, regulation. This is regulation of unit 2, that is REG, and this is integrator block, and this is summing block. So just once if you remember this up portion of block diagram, rest of them is very easy. So just first input is change in power, that is reference power. This is the generator block diagram. General block diagram of generator 1 over 1 plus STG. TG. T is the time constant of generator 1. So change in power delta PV1. 1 over, this is the turbine 1 plus STR1, that is turbine regulating characteristics of turbine. So output is, we will get the change in mechanical power delta M1. So here the load changes. Load changes is also considered, that is delta PL1 of S. Then turbine generator constant, which is given by time constant 1 over 2H S plus D1. And this is change in speed delta omega 1 of S. So then change in angle of area 1 is delta 1 of S. And this is the time constant for both the area. So similar blocks, just only the change notations. Replace 1 by 2 in the same block, all the blocks. We'll get the second block. So this is the main block diagram for a tie line bias control of two area system. Here we have to consider the two cases. If there is change in load of area 1, what is the equations? Then we will get this. First we have to consider the change in speed for both the area. Then this is the equation, mechanical power minus change in power and load, that is equal to change in power. So both delta F and delta omega are same. We assume that mechanical power are constant. So tie line and rotating mass exhibit oscillation, synchronizing oscillation. So we will get the change in delta. Similarly for area 2 we have delta M12 and delta M2 is equal to del omega D2. Okay. So this is the standard equation. In the previous case we are using that delta P is equal to delta F minus delta F divided by R1. Clear? So this is minus. Similarly here we have to write change in power with mechanical power delta PM1 minus del of omega divided by R1. This is the del of PM2 is equal to minus del of omega divided by R2. So then this is the equations, change in power. This is the actual standard equation which are used to find the value of change in speed, and this is change in power. So change in power in terms of D1 and D2. Okay. So these two are very important equations to solve the problems. This 1 over R1 plus D1, which is rewrite as beta 1. 1 over R2 plus D2, which can be rewrite as beta 2. Similarly, change in power, this is the equation. As we know that we have to replace this 1 over R2 plus D2 by beta. So in general, 1 by R plus D, this is replaced as beta. Clear? So with respect to change in load in area 2, we have to write 2. Area 2. So similar as equations, just observe this. This is the important equation. Same equation you can rewrite in the change in area 2. Look at these equations, clear. So then you will get the formula directly. You can write this equation. So based on these equations, we are going to solve one problem. So that problem will look like this. That's two control areas having connected via tie line with the following characteristics. Okay, this is the given data: R1, D1, base MV, R2, D2, base MV. So we have to find the change in load with respect to area 1. So we'll just look at this equation. This is similar as this equation. Clear? Delta omega is equal to minus delta PL12 divided by beta 1 plus beta 2. Beta 1 is 1 by R1 plus D1, beta 2 is 1 by R2 plus D2. So just look at your same equation you have to write in. Find the value of beta 1, beta 2. Then delta omega, you have to substitute the values, so you will get the delta omega. Then to find the delta f is equal to delta omega into f. Delta omega into f is clear. So that will be used here in this case. To find the new frequency, base frequency minus delta f. Base frequency, that is the formula is f minus delta f. This is the new frequency f new, which is equal to given by this equation. Then change in power, which is given by the standard equation. Substitute the values, you will get the this and 4 values. Similarly, with respect to area 2, we have to directly write this equation. Okay. Then change in area 2. So find the value of change in mechanical power for area 2. So multiplied with the base. So this will multiplied with base, you will get the values. Then increasing the load in area 1 is 100 megawatt. Case 3. So then case 4 and 5. Change in load in area 1. So you can use this delta omega into d1. Change in load in area 2, del of omega d2. So we have to find the values, so we'll get the, just refer the Umarov textbook and we'll get the all these details. So then the last fifth case, change in load area in same thing, so same thing we have to return here. So how to change in the frequency, that will be observed based on these equations. Substitute the values, we know that all these coefficients, substitute it and convert it into base multiplied with this 50, either more this, so just multiplied with 50 base, we'll get the answer. Similar type, one more problem. The data of two area system is given. Pg1, that is nothing but PL1, both generation and load which have the same value. R1 is so and so, R1 is given. Area 2 Pg2, PL2, R2. So increase the 10 megawatt of load takes place in area 1. Determine the frequency and area control errors. To find the frequency and area control errors, I have to use these equations. So from the formula, you have to find the values. So delta m1 and delta m2. So by look at the problem or equations, d1 del of omega 1 plus delta pl1 plus delta p12. Similarly, with respect to area 2, you can write 2. Then you have to find delta omega is equal to del of omega 1 equal to del of omega 2. So change in mechanical power, which is given by delta omega by R1. So with respect to area 2, delta omega 2 by R2. So then you have to find the change in frequency. Clear? This is the change in frequency values. You have to find the values. Then change in power with respect to area 1 to 2, area 2 to 1. Then area control error, which is given by and standard formula. This is important equations we have to use to find area control errors. Delta P12 is known. R1 is droop characteristic, that is also given. Del of omega already you have to find it. Substitute here, we will get the final answers. Thank you. Stop.